Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a bonus Valentine's Day Tarot Oracle reading. And Capricorn, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Capricorn, we still all have a little bit of Capricorn in us. If you have your birth chart, sorry, which house is it in? That's where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. Keep in mind, this is a general collective reading, so parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you and just leave the rest. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it's the perfect time for you. If I have posted it some time ago, what was going on in your life back then, that may give you some further clarity on your situation now. All right, so we're going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck. Whoops, I've got the deck upside down. Sorry about that. So I have the Strength card here. So the Strength card, this young woman is reaching into this lion's mouth. And this would be a very dangerous thing to do. But somehow the lion is being submissive and allowing her to do it. That's because the lion actually represents her fears. And this infinity symbol above her head says every time she does this, she has a little bit more potential to move forward in her life because she's facing her fears and she's proving to herself that she can. So this is about facing fears. Maybe you're afraid of love, Capricorn. It could be. We'll see what's going on here. So the underlying energy is, okay, the Hermit goes up to the top of the mountain to go and be isolated. Generally, this follows a dark night of the soul. So the dark night of the soul is when you face your deepest fears. So this is making sense here. And the Hermit goes up, isolates himself at the top of the mountain. And then when his lantern has the light of the North Star in it, and it lights up his rod, he knows it's time to go down from the mountain and put into action what God told him was the plan. And so this is actually representing the internal forces that are within you. So the internal forces are what would keep you up at night saying, what if this happens? Or what if they do that? What if that happens? What am I going to do? That kind of energy. It's the woulda, shoulda, couldas. And they can get like you in a loop where you just can't stop thinking like that. So we're going to look at what are the woulda, woulda, couldas. And this is, okay, so you're the wounded warrior. You've been through it. This is saying that there's been at least, this is the 9 of Wands. There's only 10 Wands in the tarot. And then the Wands represent the energy of fire. That's the element that they represent. And they represent action. So this is a wounded warrior. The wounded warrior is someone that's doing their best to stay on their path. And, they've managed to do it because they've landed 8 of 9 wands here. And they're leaning on the 9th one that's closest to their heart. So this is saying that it's been a struggle, but they've managed to, they're still standing. They're still on their feet. Then we've got the energy, and this is the underlying, the Hermit is the underlying energy for the internal forces, but this is how you identify with yourself right now, that you've been through it, you're tired, and you need this card here, the 2 of Wands, is saying that this person is standing on the top of the turret of their castle, and they are holding the globe, which represents the world. And they have one wand planted here, but they've got their left hand on this wand. So they're thinking about expanding, and that it's time that they've done everything they can here where they are. And they need to, if they're going to expand, they're probably going to have to move somewhere else, like leave for a while at least. And this can represent like going across the world, even like to international, because of the waters here. This also can represent the energy. This reminds me of entrepreneur energy, where you've already, planted something here, but it can't grow anymore. Maybe there's like, it's a smaller place, there's not as many people or whatever. And this is representing feeling like a big fish in a little pond, and knowing that, you know, if you really want to be able to expand your horizons, you're going to have to really move away from where you are and go into another location. And so that's the energy that underlying here. And these also represent passion. So it's about having passion for something. And now we have the Knight of Swords coming in. So the Knight of Swords, the knights would work for the king and queen, and they would deliver messages from one kingdom to the next. They would travel by horse generally. The knights would deliver the message, and they would protect the palace and, you know, the kingdom, do errands for the king and the queen and the rest of the court. Each of them has an element, and the element for this knight is the sword. And so the sword represents your mind, your mental intelligence, and like your ability to use that intelligence, and also to be able to discipline your mind. So it represents thoughts, it represents words, you know, written and verbalized. So he is in a hurry. This is one thing we're noticing here. He is racing forward. He's either running from the hermit and the fears, or he is just left there maybe and is coming to give communication. So this can actually represent a thought coming in, like an aha moment kind of energy. The thing is we can only see half his sword. So it kind of implies that he only has half the answer, or we don't see the point of his communication. So it's this quite often kind of represents someone who's rushing in, and they don't 100% have all the facts. And you know, you can see that both the horse and the rider are very anxious and in a real hurry. They're running against the wind. So they're trying to get here to deliver this message as quickly as possible. It could be something that they've learned while they went inward and meditated and did all this inner work. Let's see. Okay, so it appears, lots of wands here. So this is all about action. So it appears that this is my immature competition. It's the Five of Wands, representing people who have not matured enough yet to realize that competition is something that you can learn from, and that, you know, you can use competition to better yourself. But because if you see that someone is doing something better than you, and you want to learn how, you can watch them do it and learn from them. And you could also ask them, you know, and just tell them, hey, you're really good at that. Like, how did you learn to do that? And then you maybe they'd be kind enough to share that information. So this is my Mean Girls card. It's talking about, because there's adolescence here. So it's like just this, when people think that competition is, you know, they'll do anything to win. So it's like my Mean Girls card, because think of narcissistic cheerleaders who, like, they're watching the other team and they can see they're better and that they should win, but they don't care. They want to win. And if they don't succeed at finding a way to win, then their mothers will. It's that kind of energy. And then we have the Emperor coming in. So the Emperor is all about performance. He's sitting on his throne. He wears his armor underneath his robe because he's ready at the moment's notice. If there's an opportunity, he'll be ready to take it. If he has to fight for something, he'll be able to do that. He's very wise, which is represented by his white beard here. And so he embodies the qualities of all four kings. So he embodies the intelligence and the ability to use words and be charming, etc., with the swords energy. He is very passionate and, someone that is that inspires passion about moving forward and taking action and getting shift done, bringing thoughts down to earth and manifesting them. He's also very good with money and with pentacles. So it's talking about lifestyle, health, wealth, happiness. He's someone that you can rely on. He's very stable, like the King of Pentacles. And he also has the qualities of the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is like the most stable when it comes to relationships, able to control his emotions, and most emotionally available. So this is a real alpha male energy. It can still be a woman, but if it's a woman, she's really in her masculine energy. And then we have the King of Cups coming in. So the King of Cups is sitting on his throne. And as I said, he's the most emotionally available. He's sitting out in all this water, and you see the water is really rough. In tarot, that represents emotions that are very volatile, and there may be chaotic energy around him. But he's just totally chilled out because he is good at controlling his emotions and, you know, being able to have like kind of a poker face about it. He is ready to move forward and deliver a cup of love. Having said that, he's waiting for the exact opportune time because he's very emotionally intelligent. So he knows if he's going to offer a cup of love that it has to be at the right moment, that kind of energy. And so he is sitting on his throne waiting to deliver a cup of love. Now, the cup of love is generally represents romantic love, and this is a Valentine's Day reading. So we're talking romantic love. So there seems to be a king waiting. Now, there's a lot of energy here, but there's not really that much of a story. We're going to look at it again here. So this position is how you identify with yourself at this time. This is talking about you, how you feel about your self-worth and how abundant you feel. And it's like, yeah, I've done really well here, but like maybe you come from like a city or a town that only has like 5,000 or 10,000 people, and you're like, yeah, everybody's saying, oh, you're doing really good here. But you know, if you go out into the world to a bigger city, you're going to be a small fish in a big pond. And so it's kind of like really wanting to explore that energy and expand your horizons. Quite often, this can be entrepreneurial energy. And so there's been some sort of actions taken, and it seems to be some competition, like some immature competition involved that's causing this wounded warrior energy. Some information is coming in. This is in the position of your communication from early life. So you may have been raised in a household where people were like really busy, a real active household. Like some people, doing a lot of sports, a lot of activities after school, belonging to a bunch of clubs and that kind of energy. And like your parents both working outside the home and just like really busy. That's the energy that I'm picking up. And so, and then we have for here the emotional foundation. So I feel like, and this is the other energy I'm picking up, is that maybe you came from a family where there was several children. And so you had to kind of compete with each other to get the attention. And so that's kind of, when we're raised that way, that sort of develops the energy that we're in when it comes to how we deal with relationships. And kind of having like, there's not enough to go around kind of energy is what I'm picking up. And then we have this is your creativity and romance, and whether or not, like how you feel about having children in that. So of course the Emperor is more than capable of producing children. And it's just talking about really being able to be in a position to afford a romance, like to be man enough to be able to do so. And then we have the daily routine. So this is your daily routine. It seems like right now you're pretty like, it's quiet. So I don't know if that's because of some actions that have been taken, but it's not like you're really here at the beginning. You're identifying with this energy, but your day-to-day, your daily routine and your health in that is pretty calm. Yeah. Oh, my little cat is just purring up a storm here. Yes, you are. So that her job is to sit on my lap and raise the vibration. You're so loud. Yeah, you're purring so loud. And so this is the energy of the overall is having to have strength to be able to overcome something. Like, I'm almost wondering, sometimes this could represent someone who's not feeling that well, that kind of energy. Like, it could be something like that. Let's take a look and see what the external forces. So in the external forces, we have the energy of judgment. And so judgment is coming in, and judgment begins in the spiritual realm, and then it's brought down to earth. So the angel has the trumpet sounding, and the ancestors are climbing out of the box, and the descendants are across from them. So it's representing some judgment coming in on a spiritual level for sure, regarding something that's happened. And it could be generational, like something that's happened more than like a generation ago, it feels like, that kind of energy. This is representing Pandora's box could have been opened, or like skeletons coming out of the closet. So it's really interesting because there's no love here, like for Valentine's Day, Capricorn. And then there's also this energy of exhaustion, and maybe yet your daily routine is like you're calm about it. Now, this could be two different people though, but this is your internal forces. So this could say that you're feeling exhausted, maybe because you're looking after someone who's ill. That could be. And like knowing like you were maybe you had plans to move forward, and one of your, like, because this King of Cups could be older, and okay, so it could be that you're exhausted from looking after everything that's happening in your life, and you maybe have someone who's sick. And this could be someone that normally would be doing a lot of the work. That's the kind of energy. And because this could represent kind of like an emergency. And sometimes the sword energy can also represent surgeons and that kind of energy. Really, it's really interesting. Like, I can't quite grab it yet. And what it has to do with Valentine's Day, I'm not sure yet. But that's how the readings have been going. So we're just going to go with it. So there's some sort of communication that comes in. And this is interesting because the Page of Swords represents, like, the pages would work for the king and queen in the court, and they would start around the age of 7 to 14. And then if they were really good at what they were doing, they would possibly be put up for knighthood at the age of 21 if they had the money for a horse, kind of energy. But the Page of Swords, this represents the same person. This is them before the age of 21, and this is, probably after, like, somewhere around probably between 21 and 40 kind of energy. And so again, the sword, it's interesting because of all the pages, this is the only one that's not focused on the sword, like on the element that he represents. He's actually looking away from it, which says that he already knows the thought and he has the thought, but he is looking away because he's thinking outside the box, using his intuition as well as the logic. It's a two-edged sword here. And this always reminds me of golfing. And, the game of golf, it looks like he's about to take a swing. And this energy, golf is a very mental sport, meaning like at the first hole, if you have a real bad, first hole, and your score is already like totally ruined for the rest of the 18, like it's like, oh, I'm never going to be able to recover from this. The game can only spiral and get worse or get better. And so it's a real mental sport. It's about being able to come back after having a battle. That's kind of this energy here, and being in having the strength of mind that you are able to wipe that out, and the very next hole you get a hole in one. Like, you don't let failure take you down and out. It's kind of like, okay, it took me out, but I'm back up again on my feet, and then again. And That's the kind of energy I'm picking up, some like that. It's been trying times, but you've managed to keep going despite it. And so this is in the external forces. So something came in to disrupt your life here. And we're going to see here. Okay, and so this is talking about juggling. This is someone who's really busy also. This can represent a lot of multitasking. Again, I'm just picking up this energy of being in that in-between stage where maybe you have children and you have a marriage and you have, you know, a job and your partner has a job or a career. Like, so you're both juggling that. You might have quite a few children, and so you're juggling the money and making sure that you can pay all the bills and get them to all their events and all that kind of energy. And I feel like your family's like really high performance, but I feel like there may be a parent or someone else that became ill suddenly, or, you know, emergency, like and needed surgery or something. This could represent a car accident or something like that. And maybe they needed to have surgery and now they're convalescing, and you're trying to you're caught in the middle of looking after your parents, looking after your kids, looking after your career, that kind of energy. And we just had at the time that I'm doing this reading, it's going to be the 5th, but on the 1st we had the full moon, and the full moon was in the sign of Leo. Leo is about leadership. I feel like possibly you've really had to step up and really juggle everything and then multitask. And so just this being really busy, like juggling way too much energy, but I feel like you don't really have a choice right now. It's just the way it is, because I really feel like this energy that something happened to someone and they need extra care right now. And the momentum of it is building, like it's kind of like it's starting to wear you down, like the wounded warrior energy here. And like the full moon in Leo is across from Leo, we have the sun in Aquarius, and that's right across, it's opposite the chart in the horoscope on the circle. And whatever your opposing sign is really has a larger effect on your life. The Aquarius energy is more like, okay, I have to look after the group. I have to look after the whole family. I have to look after like I have to look after my career. I have to make sure the kids get where they're going. I have all these responsibilities and I have to put them first. But at the same time, you're in this energy and you know you need to put yourself first as well, because otherwise, because you don't have much left to keep going kind of energy. And so that was kind of what the full moon was about. And that energy is still lingering a little bit. And then we have the year of the horse coming up on the 17th in the Chinese zodiac. It's the beginning of the new year. And we're moving from the year of the snake into the year of the fiery horse. And this energy is like about having a lot of having a lot of drive, like wanting to run, really free-spirited, but setting very high goals, and sometimes setting goals that are so high and not giving yourself the time to be able to accomplish them properly kind of energy. And the danger of and in matters of love, it's about being very passionate. And, you know, that's the King of Cups having a cup of love here. It's passionate and it's like very all heart, you know, like really, really loving. Having said that, the energy of the fiery horse also, the danger is burning yourself out, doing too much. And I feel that that's what's going on here, is that kind of energy. So there's not that much time for a cup of love right now. And that's why the King of Cups is waiting. Now this King of Cups energy could represent where you're at. Or you could be the emperor and you're having to look after maybe someone you really love. And that's kind of that part of the emperor, like all performance. But if you've ever been in that situation, where you do have a, you know, like you're you know, you have children and they're in sports and they're in this and that, and there's, you know, like meetings for the school, and there's clubs, and then there's also your career, like you're working outside the home, and back in, like there's just so much going on that you're multitasking quite often. And then if one of your parents becomes sick, or someone else in the family becomes sick, and all of a sudden you have that to add to it, it can really burn you out. It's like burning the candle at both ends kind of energy. So, but it is about love, but not, this isn't romantic love. Now, Valentine's Day is generally about romantic love. So let's see what else happens here. So it's that kind of that energy, and a lot of people are in that right now of like having to look after themselves, but also needing to look after everything else. And it's more challenging right now because of just what's going on in the world. And then we have the energy of the high priestess. So the high priestess, she sits next to God on her throne, and she is sitting between these two pillars. And these two pillars, she is, one represents the devil and one represents Jesus, basically, dark and light, good and evil, that kind of energy. So the extremes. And she is sitting, and she relies on her intuition, and she also follows the cycle of the moon to inspire her intuition, knowing that on the full moon, you release what you can, like that's holding you back. And on the new moon is when you then are ready to move forward with the new kind of energy. This is saying, listen to your intuition at this time, because there's maybe a better way, or there's something that you can do about this. This is, I feel like, having a lot of love, but it's not, I don't know if we're talking about romantic love here. We have the Queen of Pentacles coming in. And so the Queen of Pentacles is holding a coin, basically. This is representing health, wealth, happiness, lifestyle. This is talking about someone who is very well known, like the Queen of Pentacles is known for being very much able to make something out of nothing. She likes quality over quantity. This is talking like old money, not new money. Like she's not someone that flashes her money around and buys a lot of shit. She's more like someone that likes quality items, and rather than having a whole bunch of around her, and also like not buying designer, this and that kind of energy. It's more like the old money kind of energy. It's a generational wealth. So she also is known for being very stable and steady, someone you can rely on, that kind of energy. Very resourceful. Okay, and then we have this energy of looking at how much work you've put into something, and there's only this one pentacle, and wondering, there's got to be a better way to do this. And this is the energy that I'm picking up here. If this could even represent someone that has someone that's mentally ill in the family, or maybe high on the level of autism or something like that, or someone who's maybe, like it's maybe one of your children is requiring a lot of care. And it could be like cerebral palsy or something like that, where they require they need assistance for all their bodily functions, and have special needs when it comes to communicating and that kind of energy. So a lot of work. And maybe this is that energy of the whole family is now being worn down. Love this person dearly, but the whole family is just exhausted from trying to look after everything. That's now an energy. It could be like a parent, or it could be someone that is in your family, and that it's some maybe born with something where they require all this extra care. And that is really, and so this person's looking at, because this is lifestyle, and looking at like, man, we're working hard, we're working around the clock, and this is like how I feel like where we're at, and we need, like, we're putting all this energy, and there's maybe got to be a better way to make this situation better. And then we have the King of Swords coming in. So the King of Swords, again, I'm getting this surgeon type energy. The King of Swords is a master of his craft, basically, whatever he's doing. Sometimes, like, this can be like someone who speaks for a living, using their words. Like, words can be used as weapons, and words can also be used, to earn your living, basically. Like, the words on paper or the words that are vocal. This can be someone that, someone like that works as a lawyer, or that kind of energy, a politician, someone that uses their words, an influencer, that kind of energy. But I feel I'm just picking up a lot of medical energy here. So I don't like, this is not really a romantic love for Valentine's Day, but there's all sorts of different kinds of love. And so I feel like this is telling the story of a family that's looking after someone that's very ill. And the judgment is maybe that they're getting close to leaving this world, or maybe there's some sort of solution coming in. So let's take a look at what this is. This is an interesting reading. The Capricorn energy is all about responsibility. Like the sign of Capricorn is, the glyph is the mountain goat with a fishtail on the end. So being very determined, take consistent steps of action to get to the top of the mountain. And then, and not, coming back down, like if you fall down, getting back up and taking another step, and then another consistent step. So I feel like this could be several things, but I am really strongly getting, it could be either like a mental or physical health issue right now. This could represent someone also that maybe has Parkinson's or dementia or that kind of energy. And it's speaking about the love that everybody has for this person. Like, it's almost like all the focus is on this one, and they're the one that's calm, or appears to be calm, because they can't do anything, and so everybody around them that's the energy I'm picking up. So this is a different kind of love story. This is a real deep love. This is really a beautiful story in many ways. Let's see what's going on here. If you're enjoying this reading, please do like and comment, and consider subscribing if you resonate with the channel. I'm going to clarify this because I want to get some more information to see if there's some sort of solution, because when you're looking at this card is representing maybe there's a better way, and usually if you think there's a better way, there is a better way. There could be ways in your daily routine, and that could make things differently. That could make things a little bit easier. And it's kind of, I'm getting the energy of, if you could just throughout the day have different ways to make things simpler, that by the end of the day it wouldn't be so exhausting, that kind of energy. Or maybe being able to somehow bring someone in for a few hours so that you can get respite, and rest up, that kind of energy. So I'm going to use my Oracle, Tales from the Vector, TAILS, and I have a website, talesfromthevector.com. I have had like this kind of day, juggling a lot, because I just had a whole bunch of unexpected things happen, one after the other. And it was just, and one of them was my website went down, like really went down, like it was really bad. It was like, I got an email saying like basically it had crashed for some reason. but we managed to get it back up and running. So it is back up and running now, and I'll check it again in a couple hours here to make sure. But it was like a big kerfluffle to get it going up again. But on my website, I do have a gallery with the 64 paintings that I started. I started them in 2007, and in 2020 I completed all of them. And so I'm working now to bring the deck out. I've had it out and about at psychic fairs and my seminars, etc. in the past, but I didn't have all the paintings done. So now that all the paintings are done, I've been working on the information, and the final step is like working with it online like this so that I can really write up the book that goes with it. All right, so let's see. In the description box below, I will have the numbers of the cards as they appear here. So if you want to look it up, you'll be able to do so. I'm also just going to pull this down because I want to make sure that you can see the top and bottom of the reading with these other cards on it. All right. Just tuning in here. So what can we do for Capricorn here? This may be something also, as I said, like an accident happened and someone, you know, it's a temporary situation. We have, okay, so we have the energy of Gemini coming out to clarify this energy. So this is talking about someone who's kindergarten aged, that kind of energy, around, you know, 5 or 6 years of age. And it's about using creative solutions. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. Like yawning, when people yawn, it means that you're clearing energy. And like the lion's mouth being open like this. So I feel like this maybe could be a child that you're looking after, like as I said, for some of you. And the fear is like not being able to continue looking after them, or them like not being able to keep them as healthy as they can be to be at home, and that kind of energy. We have attachment. So this is kind of this is a karmic space, like when you really get attached to someone, of course, a child or whatever, or to a situation. Sometimes it's really difficult to see other ways around it because you're attached to it, and maybe you've been in a routine, and you know, it's hard to see, okay, is there a way that we could do this better? We have the energy of perception. So yeah, like if you're in this situation and it's a long-term thing that's happening, then it can really be, you know, this wounded warrior energy. And having to really look at the situation and try to make it as, you know, see the good parts of it, because you know, watching other families maybe that don't have all this stress on them, you know, it can sometimes feel like the grass is greener. But then if you went over to the other grass, you would probably realize that being in this kind of energy also really empowers people to really dig deep, and everybody having to rise to the occasion and be in their best energy. We have worldly and otherworldly desires. So this is about permission to really give yourself, like, to follow your authentic desires. And that I feel is the struggle a little bit here of like how am I going to be able to, and to, if there's other family members in that, how are we going to be able to make it fair, kind of for everybody, like it's, you know, and then we have on this energy, we have the devil coming in. And so the devil is about temptation, and I can feel this energy of just being so exhausted that I don't know, there could be some sort of energy here that you're feeling. This is in your communication from early life kind of energy. So it's kind of the ways that you would normally deal with shift that's happening in your life, and being tempted to take an easy route out or something like that. So let's see what that is. Okay, so the energy covering the devil, I always cover the devil, just the temptation, to see what this is about. And it's, this card is saying that like when the Fool goes on their journey and they start at the 0 point, they go through the major arcana until they get to card number 21 when the cycle ends and they start another one. And so if the Fool has like expectations on his journey of how things should go, it creates limitations. And so it's that kind of energy. It's kind of like, you know, like if it's a child in your family, or it's that kind of energy, then it's kind of like the expectation maybe when you were pregnant, and that was that it was going to be a healthy baby, because that's how most of us would see it. And then when it ends up like this, it creates limitations if you have those expectations. And so expectations always create limitations. And sometimes this can also talk about, Stella, stop it. Go away if you're going to be noisy. So sorry about that. So the energy is, she wants me to feed her. She's going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait. It won't just be, see, this is the energy that I'm getting from your situation, is being like in this situation where you're just trying to have like, hey, I'm just trying to get some information here. Could you just give me 5 minutes? You know, kind of, that's the energy I'm picking up. So this is talking about, you know, expectations will always create limitations. And sometimes we have expectations that things are going to get worse rather than they're going to get better. And we have the need to be right. So in this case, in many cases, maybe there's medications and things like that, and you do have to be right. But there also could be some sort of, I don't know, I'm picking up some guilt or something, that maybe something happened during the birth of a child, if it's that energy where they lacked oxygen during the birthing process or something like that. I'm just picking up that kind of energy. And then we have strength again here. So on the Emperor, like having to be on all the time, being everything to everyone. And so this energy right now, it's just this is a situation that families in, I'm getting. And you may be like the parent, you know, one of the parents, or you could be a caregiver, you know, that's in the family but it feels like exhaustion is setting in, and there does have to be some sort of change here. And so we want to figure out, what can we do here? Okay, so the Capricorn energy is saying, it's sitting on this King of Cups. So this is about the responsibility. Okay, this is talking about seeing the possibilities and the challenges of how to do this. And so it's kind of what I feel like on the external forces coming in, this represents the spiritual realm coming down and the trumpet being blowing, and that there's going to be a shift here of some sort. This Saturn energy, Saturn is actually moving into the sign of Aries on the 13th of February, right before Valentine's Day. And that energy is about a new way of handling responsibility, which is it's highlighted. And it's joining Neptune, which was in Pisces energy. And Neptune is about being idealistic. And the two coming together, it's kind of like a clash. I want to be idealistic, and I want to find different ways of doing things. These are big planets, so they're having a real huge pull on us right now. And it's this energy again of being like, what do I do? What I need to do for myself here, or do I have to put everybody else first? And I'm getting the answer is somewhere in between. But I feel for some reason, for a lot of people who aren't used to having this much responsibility, this could be like really challenging. But for some reason, I feel like the energy for you is going to change things. And I feel like maybe there's some sort of information that you're waiting for, that maybe, I keep hearing the word respite. So I feel like maybe you've applied to a government program or to some sort of program. And I feel like if that's what you're waiting for, that I think you're going to hear about a change. Because look at, we have the Pisces energy. So Neptune moved out of Pisces on the 26th of January. And then the Saturn, which Capricorn is ruled by, is going to meet that energy in the sign of Aries. And Aries is like a newborn baby, a new way of doing things. For a lot of people, that's really stressful because it's like, what do you mean? We've been doing, for 14 years, Neptune has been in this Pisces energy, and I've learned to do things that way. And now I have to do things a different way. And you're going, glory, hallelujah. That's what we're looking for. It's really interesting, like how that is. And this is talking about commitment, marriage, and partnerships and commitment. And this is a different type. I feel that this is an energy of a child that you love very much, of course, that you are, dealing with that. And I feel like you're coming to the end of a cycle here pretty quickly here, because something new is going to come in with this energy. It's so interesting because everybody's been kind of like, this energy is such a big challenge for most people. And I'm getting for you, it's like this energy, it can be a breath of fresh air. Like, not so much this one, but this here. When we get to this point here, the external forces coming in are actually ending a cycle. And it's like a breath of fresh air. Oh, here's the answers coming in kind of energy. Really interesting. And it really puts like this idea of having a different perception. Even though my cat took off on us and she's not sitting on my lap and purring anymore because she's too focused on being hungry, that kind of energy. But yeah, it's like the grass is greener on the other side, and then you find out it's fake. But this energy is saying that I feel like some good news is coming in for you. I really do. And then we have the Libra energy. And that's in transition. Perhaps that you, like, and this is about socializing, and it's about love. Libra is ruled by love. And I feel like maybe you have found, maybe someone is there's a government program or something. I'm getting, because this is about senior executive, and that someone's made a judgment that maybe you can, I keep hearing the word respite, that maybe you can have an adult coming in. And I feel like the universe is conspiring for you, that you're going to have the money, like there's going to be some pentacles coming in and some respite. Someone maybe that will allow you to have a few hours every day, which for you is going to be a lot because you're not used to having that time to yourself. Yes, and I feel like there's been a blind spot on the situation. It's kind of like when you can't see something that other people can see that would be a good solution for your problem, or you've been trying to get others to see that you need, this is what we really need, and they're finally coming around and saying, okay, we're going to, like there's going to be a grant or there's going to be some sort of program or something. I really feel that way. And that it's an intuitive answer. So it's like it's not just a logical answer. It's a creative solution to the problem, and it'll be like magic for you. It's an energetic upgrade coming in, and there's a pentacle. And I'm wondering if there also could be like some sort of program or subsidy or something like that's the kind of energy I'm getting. A grant, something like that. That comes in that will maybe give you some extra money on a monthly basis. And that could even be something like, if it is like someone older that you're looking after, maybe they've reached retirement age or whatever, and they can collect some money that way on top of, the disability or whatever funds that are coming in. So this is talking about, this is talking about your career and your public image and that. And I do feel like something's going to happen, that it's going to change. I feel it's going to be, I feel like you may be advocating for other people also, on how the other people, that there's a lot of people in this situation. It could be about autism or something like that. being on the spectrum and having been like involved in groups where you've been advocating, and it's not just yourself that is going to get the benefit from that, but a lot of other people around you that are in a similar situation. I'm also picking up, because the Libra energy is about socializing, I feel like maybe if you've been working in that group, that there is someone that you've met, like with maybe this Emperor energy, or they've recognized that you have that energy. And maybe instead of just being like someone that is volunteering, that you actually get a position where you actually get paid to do it and make good money, you know, and then bring that money in for your, for other families. That's the kind of energy I'm picking up. Government programs, grants, that's kind of thing. And then this is about the star energy. So the star is saying that you were born to have a good life. You were born to shine. And I just feel like this is a very, like there's so much love here. It's not romantic love, but it's a very powerful love. And Valentine's Day is about love, you know, just love itself. But I really feel like the star energy is talking about someone who adds their special flavor to the universal waters and then brings that energy in and brings that down to earth. And it does involve like lifestyle and pentacle energy. I feel like you're not just advocating for your family, but you're advocating for others at the same time. And so not only are you going to benefit your own family, you're going to benefit a lot of different families, a lot of children or adults or whatever it is, you know, and I feel like the situation's different for everyone. I went through a time frame where, you know, my kids were really busy, and my husband at the time was like, you know, away at work a lot. And then my dad collapsed, and he had Guillain-Barré syndrome, and he went from being up and on, you know, working every day. He had his own business, and he was like the tower of strength in our family. Like that's just, he was always so strong. And just in a 36-hour, he was paralyzed from head to toe. He could only blink his one eye, and then he had to go through a lot of work, a lot of 4 years before he passed on. But he recovered. You know, he was able to walk, breathe, eat, and whatever. And he was even able to come home again. And you know, that energy. It's so exhausting, but on the other hand, it's also, the love is so great. And what I really found for myself during that time frame was, you know, I didn't know my dad that well because he was like always working when I was growing up, and then I was busy with my life. But when then he really needed me, you know, I made sure I tried to get to the hospital every day and make sure that he was taken care of and get him up and make him walk, you know, like when he started being able to do that. And, you know, when he didn't feel like it, I'd say, yes, you're getting up and we're going to go do it, that kind of energy. And sometimes I would be carpooling my kids back and forth to their events, and I would have them all along, and everybody's okay, we're going to go see Grandpa, and then we're going to get ice cream, and then we're going to take you home kind of energy, but we're going to stop in and see Grandpa on the way. And so that was the kind of energy. It was exhausting, and it was really, really challenging. It was really, really challenging. Having said that, when I look back on it now, I'm grateful for the time that I had with him to be able to really get to know him. And, you know, we became very close, and I wouldn't trade that closeness with him for anything. You know, really, it was so beautiful to be able to really get to know my dad like in that way. So I do hope that this has brought you some comfort, this reading, and, you know, hang in there. I really do feel that a change is coming. It's on the way. And, you know, please do like and comment if you've enjoyed this reading, and consider subscribing to my channel if you resonate with the energy. And I will be back, Capricorn, with another reading for you, probably in the next few days I think it will probably be for the mid-month reading. Bye for now.